Voxtur just reported Q1 numbers. And to be honest with you, I didn't want to see them. I wasn't looking forward to them. I was like, it's not going to be good. And you know what? I'm surprised. I mean, I am surprised how good they're looking. Like, wow. So, as always, they had in the press release, very short press release, they compared Q1 of this year to Q1 last year. Like, it's okay, but it's not the best comparison. We got to compare it to Q4 of 2023, and that's what we're doing here. So, starting with the top line, look at this. Revenues are up 35% in one quarter. 31%. So in Q4, they dipped below 10 million, right? And now they are over 13 million. So that's an increase of 35%. Now, the other part is, look at the gross profit. Gross profit is up almost 50% in one quarter. And then gross profit margin is approaching 68%. So 67.4%. That's amazing. That's amazing. And I think now we can start see improvements in the expense line. Technology and operations, they went up a little bit from quarter to quarter. This is selling and business development. Significant cut, right? From 1.3 million to 1 million. But look at this cut. General and administrative expenses went from almost 12 million to less than 8 million. We're talking 4 million from G&A. I mean, Gary has been cutting everything. So you can see it here. And then the loss from operations, look how big drop we have. From almost 14 million to negative 6.8. But again, we got to look at EBITDA here, because EBITDA last quarter was almost negative 4 million. And look at this, negative 665. So close to being EBITDA positive. So from Q3, we were almost there, right? Negative EBITDA was negative 800,000, and then Q4, the progress, it dipped, right? Revenues declined from Q3 to Q4. They dipped below. Margins declined, and then of course, because expenses didn't really move that much, it impacted EBITDA very much. So people were disappointed. I was also quite disappointed to see that, because I wanted to see continuous progress. But now that's incredible. Man, I wish this continues. That's incredible. So now you have a business where, if we take this revenue number and we annualize this, now we're talking a business that's almost 54 million a year business. 54 million. But what's so incredible about this is that this is a business that has a 67.4 gross profit margin. That is very good. So if we just take gross profit and take that 9 million times 4, we're talking about almost $40 million of gross profit business, right? And I always compare it to the market cap, right? So I mean, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. one other thing I want to point out is, so close to 10 million of gross profit, right? If we look at prior years when the revenues were much higher, and this is what it comes down to, what is the quality of the revenue stream? So if we look at like 2022, we obviously the real estate market was in a completely different place back then. And also they had the AMC business, which they now sold. So look at this. Even though back then revenue was like 40 per quarter, the quality of this revenue is nothing compared to the quality of today's revenue, even though today's revenue is smaller. Because back then the margins were 34%. So the gross profit was about 14. Now that gross profit today is not that far off. It's not that far off, right? It's about 50% off. We just had an increase in gross profit by about 50%. You have it again, and you can reach that gross profit that used to be in the past with a smaller revenue number, right? That's, the impact that the gross profit margin has, because back then it was 34, then it was 33, then they started to improve it, 38, 42, right? Then we went to 2023, it was 47, 50, right? And then they got rid of the low margin business and the margins went to 67. We had a short-term drop, and now we are approaching 68% gross profit margin. Now the EBITDA is almost positive. Now can you imagine where this business can be when the overall real estate market turns and starts going the other way? I mean, we're almost profitable on an EBITDA basis in the worst real estate market in 30 years. In the worst real estate market in 30 years. So anyway, that's all I have for now. I didn't want to see these numbers, and I'm surprised. Revenues up from quarter to quarter 35%. Gross profit up almost 50%. Gross profit margin improved. Huge improvement in EBITDA. Tomorrow there is a conference call. As always, I will record it and provide you with the full recording of the conference call. And we'll see what they say. Maybe I'll make another video. But for now, I'm surprised. I really am.